Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You've got a for a rep. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again, it's Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post and Aaron Evernham here in our Concord, North Carolina studios, and man, oh man, it is Knoxville Nationals time, and so much fun. Aaron, always an exciting time of year when we get a chance to think about the famed Marion County Fairgrounds and what that's going to be like for the next 2 weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, as a sprint car fan, this is the best 10 days in racing. I mean, nothing against Eldora or Williams Grove or Port Royal or any of the tracks, but this is our granddaddy.
Absolutely. No, I was not on last week's show. Prior to that, I did get to Eldora for the Kings Royal. Oh, my gosh, I'm telling you. So, yeah, we were backtracking, and I know you and Ashley talked about it last week. The racing and everything else was just phenomenal. But it's just so much fun to see everybody. This is people. This is not wings and sprint cars and wicker bills and tires.
Crowd.
Oh, my God. The people, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just awesome.
I'm sure you had 0 beers.
I actually was on really good. I did not have 0, but it was a much smaller number than I normally have. I stayed in Dayton, so I was an hour away. And I'll tell you what, that is by design. I like that plan because it keeps me on the best behavior. Yep. Yes, absolutely. So much fun. Couple of things that I did want to mention from this, and then we'll get into our show today. We're going to preview 360 Nationals Oskaloosa Challenge. We've got Terry McCarl and Jamie Ball talking all about Knoxville. So that's what it's going to be like today here on the show. I do want to, one of the sites that I do all the time is Sprint Car Ratings, okay? And it is just a great site. I had a chance to meet Bill with Sprint Car Ratings. He is greater than his site, and his site is awesome. Just so cool to meet somebody that you rely on so much. Yep. And he just plops down, and we get talking. He said, I'm Bill from Sprint Car Rating. I'm like, dude, you're not.
Famous.
You're God. You're God. You're the one that gives us. So, Bill, I love it. And I'm sitting in the stands. I'm up there sitting the first night with Kenny Jacobs. Oh. Really, really cool. And this father and 2 sons come up, and they're all decked out in Sheldon stuff. And it was the Shoemakers, okay? And they said, next time on the show, the boys want a shout out. So to the Shoemakers, it was the boys' first time to the Kings Royal. Might have been the first time to Eldora, first time to Kings Royal. So Dad took his sons to the Kings Royal.
Oh, I hope they had a blast.
They did. I actually ran into them after Saturday night. They were getting Landon Crawley's autograph, and they had a blast. And Dad's taking sons to the races, gets a shout-out. That's for sure. So really, really cool. All right, let's get into this because Knoxville is over. Williams Grove is over. We're going to Peevely with the World of Outlaws, and then we're all focused in on Knoxville. We're going to talk with Terry McCarl and Jamie Ball. Stay with us. Wing Nation continues on here in just a moment.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple.
Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's go to the Sage Fruit hotline because you cannot talk about Knoxville and Oskaloosa without talking to T-Mac. Terry McCarl, he joins us. Hello, Terry. How are you?
Doing great. I hope you guys are doing well.
We are doing fantastic. Terry, as we look forward to this weekend, 360 Nationals, Cappy Classic, Oskaloosa. I cannot imagine how many things you have going on in your life. How are you feeling? How are you doing? What's your level of optimism as you get ready for the first of 2 big weekends here?
Well, I always kind of laugh when I read these guys. No offense, but one team, one car, and they don't even maybe run the 360 Nationals and stuff, and how wore out they are afterwards and busy. And then, me in my prime especially, and we got the back in the day, and we got both boys racing, and me 360 Nationals, all of us racing the Cappy, promoting the Front Row and Ultimate Challenge back in the day, and then the 410 Nationals, all of us racing, and then what goes behind having a souvenir trailer and getting it parked and all the spots and getting it stocked. So. I used to laugh about that, but it's kind of like I say, it's our Christmas time. If you had a store in the mall in the Christmas, this is our time to really work hard, buckle down, and hopefully make some money and do well. And it's the 10 days that we wait for every year. So, as a sprint car fan, I just think it's the Mecca. Like I said, 10 days. There's basically something different every night. A couple of different tracks, different style of cars between the 360s and the 410s, and if you're a sprint car fan, you're just surrounded by 20, 30,000 people who have the same thing in common as you. And it's just a great – I've been going there since I was, a little boy, since I was 5 years old, and we just love it. It's just it's surrounded by our people and the place we want to be.
Terry, let's talk about the Sage Fruit Front Row Challenge. It's your 29th annual. Just as a whole, did you ever expect it to grow into what it has become? And what are you, you always have the greatest promotions and gifts and things for the winners and drivers. Is there anything new this year? And did you ever see it becoming what it has become, as big as it has?
I've told you guys before, I always dreamt about being a promoter when I was a little boy, believe it or not. I didn't dream about it. I was just trying to make racing better for my dad and all those other sprint car drivers back in the day. Back then, the speed sport news was all you had, and the promoters would put their payoffs and all that and the dates of their races all in the speed sport, and that's how teams knew what racing was and big events. So I used to make out payoffs when I was a little kid and try to think of how I could make it better for racing for everybody then, because my dad was a driver and then an owner, and of course I was a fan, and I just love sprint car racing. I did it for fun. I didn't do it to try to make money at first. I did it again to try to raise the sport a level, and I feel like we've really done a ton of things to make people promote a little more and a little better. I see a lot of what we do and what a lot of other people, Knoxville didn't play music, didn't throw out stuff to the fans, didn't really do anything. And, Lori and I, everywhere we go, whether it's AAA baseball or the monster trucks, the indoor arena cross, we try to, if we see something we like as a promotion, we try to use that. The card girls, like in boxing, I think we were the first guys to do that. So, just fun things on every level. You can't make everybody happy, as Heron, especially around, 30, 40 competitive teams and people, but, we want everyone to leave, saying, maybe even the racing wasn't that good that night, but we had a great time. So I try to look at everybody's, how they look at things as a car owner, a driver, and as a fan, as a child at the races. And, Lori's got, I think, about 150, I call them goodie bags for the kids this year. She puts all kinds of fun stuff in there, decals and glow sticks and Hoosier shirts and other small kids shirts and all kinds of stuff for the kids. And then, of course, we throw out, I think we're back up to about 2,000 items for the fans we throw out between Sage Fruit and Hoosier, Budweiser, all of our sponsors that, give us goodies to throw out all year to the fans. So, I try to do it on every level if we can. Like I said, sometimes, the racing may not be that great an event you go to, but we want you to leave and have a great time.
Yeah, you can't control. You can only control so much. And if you throw a party and it's a good party and a good race breaks out, you're in good shape. That's for sure. Terry, one of the things that I always marvel at is, and I know a great purse does this, but I always marvel at just the stout field of cars you always get over there. I know everyone is busy. You kind of talked about people being busy, and we know you guys have so much going on. But this thing has always kind of been able to draw the who's who in a very busy time where folks could take a night off if they choose to. It's got to be rewarding to you to just to have the fellow teams, fellow competitors continue to support you as they do.
Yeah, and I know it's a tough time for them. Ours is just a fun race, a great way to start out the 410 week. And, I know their focus is on the Knoxville Nationals. That's the big money and the biggest event in the world. And but I think we try to make it fun for them and no pressure. They can come there, and if they're having, it's a great way. I know a lot of teams come there to test their Nationals car, National motor, and I know Craig Delansky came there one year and had a brand new motor and it wouldn't fire. And they kept messing with it all night long. And ended up got it figured out at Oski, and he ran top 3 at the Knoxville Nationals. He was like, man, I'm so happy we came to Oskaloosa, because if we'd have done that qualifying night, we'd have been panicked. So it's a great place to come and test and, again, have a fun time. And, generally we get her over right about 10:15 so they can be back at Dingus and having a good time. But, it's we pay a lot of money now. It's $21,000 to win, and I'm actually raising second through fifth is $7,000 for second now, and $5,000 for third. So we've raised it to $1,000 to start a few years ago, and to our good friend JG picked up that tab. And again, it's trying to make it fun for everybody. And I like that we invert six. We kind of do the Knoxville weekly format. We invert six in the heat races. That way the guys, 17 through 24 start on the front row of the heats, and the heats last year were worth a little over $2,000 to win the heat race. So that kind of spreads out the money to the guys who may not run top 10 in the feature. And, so we want everybody to leave there having a good time and maybe a few bucks in their pocket, maybe some gifts and parts. And again, the heat races, Smith Titanium coming up. Last year we gave out a Smith inboard rotor and HRP and all the folks that sponsor us. We have so many good guys that make that heat race worth so much money. And again, Sander Engineering last year, Matt Covington won a complete set of wheels, a brand new set of Sander wheels, 2 rears and 2 fronts. And they're doing that again this year. I mean, that's worth quite a bit of money, and they just draw a number to someone who, ran back in the feature. So, we try to spread it out and try to make it fun for everybody, and I hope they have a great time. We give out 50 Casey's pizzas. Everybody got a pizza last year, so we're going to keep doing that. The fans don't realize those crew guys are there fairly early, and the concession stands aren't generally open, so they're pretty hungry by the time the races start. So a nice Casey's pizza is always good for the crew.
I love all that you do for the crews, the fans, the families, the whole 9 yards. Terry, I want to talk to you about the competition level in sprint car racing right now. Every year we say it gets greater, and I know you've taken a step back from driving in the 410 series or 410s as much, but now that there's 2 national series, there's pros and cons to it, but one thing I think it's done is elevated everybody. What are your thoughts on just the competition level, what we saw a few weeks ago at Eldora, what you expect at the Nationals?
Well, Eldora is such an amazing. I look at it like a promoter, a lot of things, and I look at every little level that maybe the racers don't, and what an amazing promotion on every level. And it's such a great track. We were just talking about it yesterday. You can start dead last in the feature and have a shot at winning at that place, especially in 40 laps. I started last in 09, I think it was, and ran top 5, and I think I had a shot at winning it, but I laid rubber late in the race. So that makes it a lot of fun. If you get your car right, you can pass people and that event and then the Knoxville Nationals bringing both groups together and all the people from Pennsylvania and Iowa coming in. It's kind of the all-star events between those, the Kings Royal and the Knoxville Nationals. What a great place to be for a fan, So you don't really know who's going to win. It's not just, one guy dominating like maybe back when I was a kid, Steve, Sammy, and Doug. But I love the 2 groups because, competition is good. Competition makes everybody work harder. And I look at it for my sons. They got a lot more big races they can attend closer to home and have a shot at making really, really good money. When we made the Front Row Challenge $20,000 to win, I don't even know, but 6-8 years ago, that was one of the top 5 paying races in the country.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sad. I was looking at how many late model shows at that time paid $20,000 to win and more. And I think there was like 25 or 30. And there was only 5 sprint car races paying $20,000 to win at that time. So look at it now. There's so many good paying races. So I love, the high limit and the Outlaws kind of going at it with each other, and it gives a place. And Aaron, when you're out on the road with the Outlaws, you're kind of fighting the tough guy every single night. After about 10 or 15 nights of getting your butt kicked, you kind of go out there, with your arms down, just wanting to get it over with. So this gives an opportunity for teams to run up front, build their confidence, maybe win some shows, but even, running top 5 and running top 10 and feeling like they got their stuff together versus all the guys that, with one group. So I enjoy the 2 groups and all the other 410 groups that are popping up. I think 410 racing is really making a big comeback, and it just makes the races like the Kings Royal and the Knoxville Nationals, that much better, I think.
Really is. It's an exciting time. It really, truly is. Before we get to Oskaloosa, before we even get to the Capitani Classic, we have the 360 Nationals. Now, Terry, we know what happens. A great crowd shows up at the 360 Nationals, and then they sell out the 410 Nationals. But what's the vibe like? What's the feel like with the 360 Nationals? You've won it 5 times, so you certainly know how to get it done there. But what is this weekend like out there in Knoxville with the 360 Nationals?
Well, it goes back to what I said. It's just started the 10 days of a mecca for a sprint car team and a sprint car fan. You can come there and see something different about every night and be surrounded by, like I said, 20, 30,000 of same people that have the same types of likes that you like. And it's just where everybody wants to be. And they really started raising the purse of the 360 Nationals. Unfortunately, when I won it, it wasn't paying like it pays now, but it's starting to pay really well. And all the cars that come in for the Cappy, it's amazing. And it's just 10 days of great racing and something different every night. I always think about the Duncans, actually. To do that track prep every single night and the things that they're dealt with as far as, rain or sun and wind and all the different cars. They do such a great job prepping that thing every night. So got to give them a shout-out. But it's just a place to be if you're a sprint car fan and a team. So I recommend if you can't get out here, make sure you watch, on Dirt Vision. And if not, get yourself a camper or a tent and come out and watch some great racing.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Terry. Two final questions for you. They're somewhat related. We have a mutual friend, Chuck Sinks, with Sage Fruit, and he is the sponsor of your Front Row Challenge. So your relationship with Chuck, and then final part of that question is, how can people get tickets? How can people come to Oskaloosa?
Yeah, you can get tickets online at oskiechallenges.com, or you can give a call at 515-957-0020. You can go to My Race Pass and get general admission tickets. So, there's lots of ways to get tickets, and we'll never sell out. I'll put you up on the flag stand if I have to. If it's too full, we'll have a place for you one way or another.
I love it.
Wow, the flag stand seating. I love that.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, that is good times. That is for sure. Terry, it is always a pleasure to catch up with you. We wish you well on the track and at the box office and everywhere else this way, and at the souvenir rig and everything else.
And your sons and family.
Exactly, with the family and everyone. We appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
I got one trivia question. Who's the highest finishing female driver at the Front Row Challenge? I'm not sure if it's Paige Polyak. I can't remember.
Is it Paige Polyak?
Some girl ran top 10 at the Front Row Challenge one time. I can't remember who the heck it was.
Sixth place? Is it a sixth-place finish?
I ran six.
Oh.
Yep.
There you go. Aaron Evernham. Aaron Crocker. Yes, Aaron
Past
Crocker.
Sammy Swindell. It was my second 410 race ever.
Passed Sammy
I did. Fast. People were asking me to sign their shirts that I passed Sammy Swindell. Yeah, I did pass him that night. My second 410 race. Look at me patting myself on the back.
Man, oh man, you go, girl.
Yeah, and that's before the altercations with a guy named Terry McCarl.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, wow. Parting shot there, yes.
I had a horrible crush on there, and I just didn't know how to tell her, and so I was married.
Yeah, when we were upside down at East Bay, when you were calling me some names, it didn't seem like a crush.
Oh, I didn't. I was like, are you okay, Aaron?
Sounded a little different than that. The verbiage was a little different.
I can't breathe. Give me mouth to mouth, Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. And with that, we need to cut it. That's it. Okay, there we go.
Making me
Terry, as always, we appreciate everything you do, and more so than everything, appreciate the friendship. Thanks for joining us this time on Wing Nation.
Sage Fruit Front Row Challenge, Monday, August 5th. See you guys. Thanks for having me.
T-Mac, Terry McCarl joining us. I don't know how we follow this. We're going to try. Okay, here we go. Jamie Ball has a devotional out. We might need to have Jamie say a little grace over what we're getting ready to do here. Jamie Ball, he joins us next.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple.
Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Zoom line now. Joining us from, I'm assuming, out in Knoxville, Iowa, current point leader of the 360s, Jamie Ball joins us. Hello, Jamie. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Jamie, we're going to start with you, sort of like we started with Terry McCarl. Here we are on the cusp of 360 Nationals Week, Capitani Classic, obviously Oskaloosa, back for the 410s. What is it like to be a sprint car guy in Knoxville, Iowa, here getting ready for the best 10 days in sprint car racing?
It's exciting, but it's stressful at the same time. Through being here my whole life and selling real estate, I get a lot of text messages of people wanting to know where to park a camper, rent a camper, get food, everything. I joke that I always kind of say I got a guy for that, and it seems like a lot of people reach out. So on top of the racing, just trying to help people enjoy the city like I love here in Knoxville.
Jamie, you talked about growing up in Knoxville your whole life. What are your earliest Knoxville memories, and have you ever missed a Knoxville Nationals since you were born?
1995 would be the first one that I went to that I remember anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of the one that I remember the most is when Mark Kinzer and Sammy got together and mowed each other over there in turn 4 and on a yellow flag or red or whatever, and just kind of the chaos of that. And man, I've been in love with sprint cars ever since. I have never lived outside of the 50138 zip code. I did college day, night, and online classes in Des Moines because I wanted to be at Knoxville. And my dad told me once I got my graduation planned for college that we'd go sprint car racing. So got a bachelor's degree in under 3 years so that I could start racing in 2010.
Wow.
My gosh.
That's very cool.
What is it like as a kid going there, having all those memories? Do you recall pulling onto that racetrack for the first time? What were the early days like to go from watching it to doing it?
Probably my coolest story of the first laps that I ever got at Knoxville was actually because of Jason Myers, who was my hero and my favorite back then. Practice night rained out on my first year in 2010, and he had the track rented the following weekend on Friday. And I went over and asked him, and he basically told me, you can pack the track for me and you can have your car here. And if there's any time left at the end, you can have the rest of it. And he did about 90 minutes of testing and gave me the last 30 minutes to get my first laps. So looking up to him, that was a pretty cool moment just to go from grandstands and pit area to actually on the track. It was surreal.
That's awesome. And now, just a few weeks ago or so, you got your 10th career win at Knoxville. What is it like to, we were talking about the progression, but here you are leading points for the 360s, 10 wins under your belt. How are you feeling going into the 360 Nationals, and what is it like to be at this point and how far you've come?
The 10th win, man, we've been trying for 3 years to get that with, I think I've said it in an interview a million times, but Chase Randall, Aaron Reitzel, and Garrett Williamson have really raised the bar on 360 competition here in Knoxville to a whole new level. The first 9 wins that I had, you could get out front and kind of cruise a little bit, and you can't do that anymore. If you take a lap off, you go from first to third or worse, and getting that 10th win was challenging. You know, we had a lot of podium runs and a lot of top 5s. We've probably been one of the more consistent guys here in the last 10 years, but just having that little extra that you need to win has been difficult. But thanks to the help of my dad and Jacob Engel, Brandon Dungerson, Tyler Peterson on my crew, Kelly Carlson, they worked really hard, and I joke they didn't get their picture taken for 3 years, but it's really gratifying to see how hard they work, and to get that win this year was awesome. And to be leading the points, I'm on year 14. I've ran a second in points 7 times between Knoxville and Sprint Invaders. So we've always been close, but haven't been able to close it out. So hopefully we can do that this year.
What is, Jamie, for those that have never been to the 360 Nationals this weekend, there's a lot of people, there'll be a lot more people there there'll be a lot of people this week and a lot more people there next week. Sell us, you're into selling things, you're into selling real estate. Sell us on coming into town a few days early to the 360 Nationals. What's the vibe? What's that like?
I truthfully think that 360 Nationals is a better race, and you get more bang for your buck. There's a lot of good drivers. A lot of the 410 guys drop down because it does pay so well. Yep. But I think you have an opportunity to watch an underdog come out on top. There's a lot more guys that I would say have a chance to actually win it come Saturday, where when 410 Nationals come around, truthfully, I mean, Kyle Larson, David Gravel, Donnie Schatz, those are probably the 3 that have a chance. Everybody else doesn't really have as good of a chance as they do on 360. So I think the competition's a little more deeper, and I think you get just as good a racing, and it's a cheaper ticket price.
Yeah, for sure. Jamie, I want to go a little off track and congratulate you. I saw you and your wife, JC, just announced that you're expecting for the first time. That's awesome. But I am concerned, is she still going to be able to ride the horse for the pre-race ceremonies? Because I think that's one of the coolest things at the Knoxville Nationals.
Absolutely. So she does cowboy mounted shooting, and she's actually the #1 cowgirl in the world right now. And
wow.
She plans to finish out through World Finals down in Amarillo on October 12th. So she's still pedal to the metal. She actually just left at 4 a.m. today for Las Vegas for a major out there. And I think she's shot in like 22 states this year, and she doesn't let anything slow her down. And the only time she is carrying the flag this year, due to all of her other scheduling conflicts, will be on Saturday in Nationals. So you can count on her to be in there.
What is it like? You two are both in competitive sports. But you're not competing with each other. Probably, thank God for that.
Yeah,
okay,
that doesn't work out well.
What is that like to support her supporting you? What's that dynamic like?
To be honest, it's incredible. Your own worst enemy, no matter whether it's cowboy managed shooting or sprint car racing, is yourself. It's the brain that you have that can do the most damage or do the most good. And I can't tell you how much we relate to each other, especially doing point chasing, what she's doing and what I'm doing this year. And it really relates the same, from having to go every weekend, regardless of how you're feeling, what you're doing, what's going on in life, to not being good one weekend and being good the next. I mean, we, like her, she has the horses and the guns, and I've got the cars and the motors. We have what it takes. You just got to be able to do it. And we've done it long enough to be good. So supporting each other, it's kind of funny. Like this weekend, she didn't have a great weekend, and I drew 75 out of 75 at 2:00 when the pit window opened. And I was having a little spiritual warfare given to me from the devil, I guess, to tell myself that I wasn't good enough, then I was going to lay an egg, and it just wasn't going to go well. And we just kind of chat a lot about things that bring each other up. Like I said, we know we can do it, and we believe in each other. So it's nice that we both do have that competitive spirit to be able to relate to each other.
Jamie, I want to go a little deeper into that. Your faith is something that is very, very important to you. In fact, a year or so ago, you released a devotional that you were involved in. This is a rough and tumble world, sprint car racing. I'm sure the horse business is the same. I'm sure the real estate business is the same. How important is your faith as you work through all the competitive endeavors that you have in life?
It means everything to me, and it truly changed my life. August 23rd of 2021, I went in to celebrate church, and Judd Nelson, who's on the fair board actually at Knoxville Raceway, an associate pastor there, good friend and somebody that I was comfortable with. And that was the day I was saved, and it's changed my life. It's changed my outlook, changed my reactions, that I know that there's not going to be great days. It's not all perfect, and there will be trials and tribulations, but through my faith in God and the good support system that we've built, I know I can get through it. And I know that truthfully, when you look back, whether it be unanswered prayers or bad things that happened, it pretty much all ends up being a blessing in the end, as long as you have the right perspective.
Yeah, that's amazing. And perspective is a huge part of it. Jamie, going back to the track, looking forward to this week, is there anything that you do different? I mean, obviously you're running there weekly, you're leading points, you've got a feature win, but when the Nationals come along, is there anything you do differently to prepare?
Probably the biggest thing that we do to prepare is just making sure that everything's done ahead of time here in the shop. Like I said, we get pretty busy with fans, sponsors, family, and people that come in, that your daytime shop time doesn't end up being as focused as you can have during the middle of the season. So we try to get a lot of our tires and stuff done, mounted up, cut, grooved, whatever we're going to do, cars and spares and everything together, and just really get focused on not having any issues at the track so that everything can run smoothly. Because my guys are a pretty well-tuned machine. We do double duty every week. And, we kind of say that as long as I'm ready in the shop, it makes Saturday nights pretty easy, but all it takes is one thing to get off. So if we can just, make sure that we're as ready to go as we can. The track's been a little bit different this year, a little bit heavier, so we've needed to have some more options of tires. But you always know that when Nationals comes around, it's going to slick off. So just basically trying to get focused on getting a good qualifying lap.
Boy,
a good draw.
First good draw, good qualifying lap. First up, that is for sure.
I used to hate drawing at Knoxville.
Oh, God, yeah, that's crazy.
Nationals, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, the draw. A lot of pressure in the draw.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. It's amazing. It really is. Jamie, absolutely love your story. 2 years ago, we had the NASCAR truck race out there, and USAC was in town Saturday night. They got washed out early, and I was in Knoxville until Sunday morning, and so I ran on the square. I went to the farmer's market on Saturday morning. I'm telling you, I also am like an AM radio geek. So you have KNIA. You actually have a local AM radio station out there. I have it on my phone. I listen to it occasionally on my phone. I love everything about your town, and I just find your story fascinating, being a Knoxville High graduate, and here you are leading the points for the 360s out of Knoxville. Love your story. We wish you well this weekend and on throughout the season, and thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Thank you, guys.
There we go. Jamie Ball joining us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a sage fruit apple.
Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Terry McCarl and Jamie Ball.
Yeah, what a great show we've had.
Wow, man, I'll tell you what, now I'm really bummed out about not being able to make it to Knoxville this year, but that's all right. Y'all go out there to Knoxville. We'll be following along, and we'll be having a great time, that is for sure. One thing you need to do when you go to Knoxville, you need to make your way to one sprint car place. Yes. That's turn number 2. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Birthday calendar, not a lot this time. Thursday's birthday, Ronnie Allen, Jeff Bloom, Ralph Hankinson, Enos Diz Wilson. So not a lot of birthdays on the birthday calendar, but that's all right. The Sprint Car Hall of Fame will be wide open.
And busy.
Yes, and busy. And the other thing is with Aaron not going to the Sprint Car Hall of Fame, the inventory will be just a little bit higher. There'll be a little bit more inventory there after Aaron gets in there.
And Kate. You got to get
Kate, that's right. Got to go. Got to make sure that Kate goes in that. Kate goes in that book and that.
We were playing with some. We still have them all in the motorhome. Some of the Sprint Car toys, and we had the motorhome at the IROC race a few weeks back, and we were still playing with them. Yep. There's this book. It's got little wind-up cars. Yeah.
It's
all
awesome.
From the Sprint Car Hall of Fame
Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. So you have to get there. They'll have fan forums. They'll have stuff going on. Stop by Shane Carson. I'm sure has 80 zillion autographs lined up for people.
Yeah. The Bob Tossel Garage.
Bob Tossel Garage, that's for sure. Racing action this weekend, the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, the Ironman 55 at Peevely. I feel really bad this race, and I know that Ken Schrader and everyone out there, they don't feel bad because they will. Yeah, you got to see him 2 weeks ago up at Lime Rock. I know this really works out well for Schrader because they sell a lot of tickets.
Yes.
I mean, I understand, and selling tickets as a racetrack promoter is your very first job, but I just hate that this Ironman 55, which is arguably one of the most incredible races on the World of Outlaw Tour.
It's a little overlooked.
It's a little overlooked,
and
it's so huge.
Yes.
And then anyone, like a couple years ago, Beersy went there, and he says, dude, you got to go see this thing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's just absolutely amazing. 55 laps on a bull ring.
And it's a high bank bull ring, and it's a show.
It is a show. So that is Friday night is prelim night. Saturday night is the big one, $25,000 to win at Peevely. And Aaron, Knoxville Raceway, kicks it off this weekend as well.
Extreme, powered by Mediacom 360 Nationals. It's sanctioned by ASCS. Thursday, Friday night, preliminary night. Saturday is $20,000 to win. And then Sunday is the Avanti Windows Capitani Classic.
And Monday, the Sage Fruit Front Row Challenge at Oskaloosa. Make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you go to
29th annual.
29th annual, that is for sure. So if you're not going to Knoxville or if you're not at Peevely, there's a lot of weekly racing action going on as well. Mm-hmm. Check your local racetrack. Get out to a racetrack, folks. Get out to a racetrack. I'm telling you, racing live in person is so great. So get out to a racetrack and go see some sprint cars. That is for sure. She is Erin Evernham. I am Steve Post. We appreciate Terry McCarl and Jamie Ball for joining us. But more important than all of that, though, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Krager has an assistant this week. Krager has an assistant. That's right. Kate Evernham is running the board. That's why things have been really smooth in there.
Everything's gone much better than normal.
Much better than normal, that is for sure. Kate Evernham running the board along with Krager. So more important, though, than all of that,
oh, boy.
Kate, what are you doing? Kate, what are you doing?
Who let her get the buttons?
Oh, Kate's mashing the buttons in there. Oh, my gosh. We have a blast. More important than all of that, though, we are grateful that you have joined us this time on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.